In under 2 minutes, our British Chancellor, Rachel Reeves, proves to us all right here in this clip that she is simply just Rachel from accounts. Let me explain more using amateur linguistic analysis. Hey up everybody and welcome to Political Nerds. I'm Steph the Alter Nerd, your nerdy political guide from Washington DC to Westminster and beyond. In today's video I'm going to use amateur linguistic analysis to show that in under 2 minutes our British Chancellor Rachel Reeves proves that she is totally unqualified for the job and she's really just Rachel from accounts. In my opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever. Now do your own research, come to your own conclusions, and as a disclaimer, I'm not inciting hatred to anyone or a particular group, religion, etc. So let's jump into it with this clip right here.
Well, I recognise that there were difficult decisions in the budget last year. I inherited a £22 billion black hole in the public finances, and I've always been clear, and I've said it to you so many times, Nick, that I will never play fast and loose with the public finances. I had to return that stability to the economy, and that did mean difficult decisions on spending, welfare and tax. But if we start undoing those difficult decisions, we return to a position where the public finances are not sustainable, and you can't build a plan for growth unless you have that rock of stability that we have returned.
Okay. So right at the end, she says rock of stability. Now, this kind of phrase is what's known by my understanding as contextual embedding. It's where the communicator uses verbal cues to help clarify what they're saying and reveal their meaning. It not only allows the listener to hear the words, but visualize a representation of what is being said in their head, i.e., rock of stability. When I say that to you, what visual element pops into your head? See, it can be used as a manipulative tactic to get someone on their side. Did you also notice that Rachel from accounts also tripped over the word decisions? She says, and that did mean difficult decisions on spending. Now, this is also known as a slip of the tongue, and there are 3 types of these slips. You've got phonetic slips, which is errors in pronunciation, like saying cat instead of bat, and I personally partake in that slip a lot. You also have semantic slips, finding another word with a similar meaning. So sometimes you may have a brain fart, and you can't think of the word that you're trying to say. It's on the tip of your tongue, right? So for example, you might be wanting to say couch, but you can't think of that word, so instead you say chair. You also have what's called morphemic slips, and that's amalgamating 2 different words together. Like when Lindsay Lohan's character in Mean Girls gets invited to a high school party by a dude that she fancies, and she says gruel, which she then explains was a mashup between great and cool. Now, there are many factors as to why these slips happen, one of which is stress and anxiety, as nervousness can cause people to actually stumble over their words. So I wonder if this is the case with Rachel from accounts right here. Why is she feeling nervous over saying she had to make difficult decisions? Were they not that difficult after all? Or with there being talk over the notion that she's just not qualified to be the Chancellor, did she actually make these difficult decisions in the first place? Or did someone else make those difficult decisions for her? You'll have also noticed during that answer that she used the interviewer's name, calling him Nick. Now, using someone's name in conversation is a powerful way to actually help the listener be engaged in what you're saying. It's an attempt to create a personal sense of connection and make the discussion feel more focused on the person being spoken to. Now, in some circumstances, the use of the listener's name in conversation can be perceived as a way to establish dominance, control, and power over the conversation, which I believe Rachel from accounts is doing right here. But Nick does not fall for it, as demonstrated in what he says next.
Saddled with that inheritance, Chancellor, Why did you raise public spending by £70 billion a year over this Parliament, paid for by £30 billion in extra borrowing and £40 billion in higher taxes, most of which falls on businesses? What is the thinking behind that, Chancellor?
Notice how Rachel from Accounts earlier on called him Nick. But here, Nick does not address her by name. Instead, addresses her by her title of Chancellor twice. This, by my understanding, is what's known as distancing language. It's a way of using language to create barriers and distance psychologically from a topic, situation, idea, or a person. So here, he's not falling for her linguistic tricks, and he's keeping his distance to protect himself.
Well, when I became Chancellor of the Exchequer, the previous government was spending money, but they had no plans of how to pay for it. So we've now managed to reset that. It did involve increasing taxes, but it also did involve some cuts to spending and some cuts to welfare. But we've now returned that stability to our public finances, which means that we can crack on that platform of stability to grow our economy.
You may notice, out of all of that, to no one's shock or surprise, that she don't actually answer Nick's question at all. She deflects. She starts off first by throwing the previous government under the bus. But why? He's asking why she raised public spending in light of that black financial hole she said she inherited. Not how the previous government didn't have any plans to pay back the national debt. And even though she said they have reset that by increasing taxes and cutting spending and welfare, she still does not answer why the government had gone for an extra 30 billion in borrowing whilst having to deal with this black hole. She also states that the public finances have returned to a state of stability, but actually this is a throwaway comment. She doesn't explain how we are now in a financial state of stability, and if anything, this is a lie. Let me show you the receipts right here. Because as per the BBC, they report that prices went up by 2.5% in the 12 months up to December 2024, saying that that meant that inflation had been above the Bank of England base rate for 3 months in a row. Now, you can tell she's playing hard and fast with the truth, as there is a distinction between her speech cadence between her first answer at the beginning and this answer here. In her first answer, it flowed apart from a slip of the tongue over the word decisions. But in this second answer, it's markedly different. She says the word 5 times. Now, when someone says in the middle of what they're saying, it usually means they're hesitating or putting themselves on a pause whilst they try and figure out their thoughts and find the right words as to how they want to phrase something. In this instance, for me, Rachel from Accounts is trying to defend herself and try and make out that what she's doing is better than what the Conservatives did, but knows this is not the case, as she clearly cannot explain how she's returned the public finances to a state of stability. Especially when, for the last 3 months in a row, inflation has been above the Bank of England base rate. It shows that she is clearly over her head. She has no confidence in what she's saying, and that Rachel from Accounts is not qualified to be our Chancellor. By also using the word it's a screwed up power play that Rachel from Accounts is trying to make. She's trying to take control of the conversation as she's losing control over what she's trying to say. She's trying to give herself a moment to think and formulate an answer on the fly. However, it's scary that the Chancellor cannot answer this question directly, or if anything at all. Here, she has proven in under 2 minutes that she is not qualified for being the Chancellor of the UK, and that she is clearly just Rachel from Accounts. With that being said, if you appreciated this video and you want more, believe me, of course, there's going to be more. You do not want to miss my next video. Then make sure you subscribe to join our Alter Nerd tribe here at Political Nerds. Like, share, comment down below your opinion, conspiracy theories, whatever. What did you catch from this exchange right here with Rachel from accounts that you think I may have missed? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for tuning in. Appreciate all your faces. And until the next time, you guys, laters.